Good morning. My name is Thomas Miller, and I'm coming to you on behalf of Road Pro and Gear Guide. They've asked me to come to you today and talk to you about fuel savings and miles per gallon and how you might be able to save a little bit. I'm going to touch on 6 real quick tips this morning. A lot of you probably already know these. A lot of you probably don't. So what I want to talk to you, I'm going to get the controversial one right out of the way first, and that's speed. Speed does burn fuel. It's just really that simple. Science has proven that. Anytime you can slow the truck down a little bit and find that sweet spot, for your truck to get into that good miles per gallon range, that's going to be very beneficial to you. So, anytime that you can knock it down a few miles per hour, you're going to bring up that MPG in turn. So, the next one I'm going to talk to you about is idling. Idling is a major fuel consumption. It's a fuel killer is what it is. Anytime you can shut your truck off, that's great. Whenever you sit on a fuel island, of course, getting fuel, that's the perfect time to turn it off, which you need to anyway, on the side of safety. But at shippers and receivers, whenever you stop for your 30-minute break or lunch or dinner break, or anytime that you can shut the truck off, you're going to be better off. There used to be that it would take more fuel to start the truck than it would if you just let it idle. That's simply not the case anymore. I mean, these trucks, they start instantaneously. Fuel systems are set up now. That's not the case. So anytime you can turn the truck off, that's going to save you a lot of money. Building on the idling, also, if you have an APU or you have an opportunity to get an APU, which is an auxiliary power unit, do it and then utilize it. An APU saves a ton of money whenever you run that on your 10-hour break versus the truck engine. So anytime that you can get out of the idling situation, the better. Next is shifting. If you're driving a standard transmission, I think everybody has heard about progressive shifting. Try to shift it a little bit lower of a shift point. Shift at that lower RPM level. Every RPM on a truck burns more fuel. Get that down a little bit. Shift a little sooner when you can, and you will see some fuel savings. Automated trucks, the automated transmission trucks, we don't shift, we don't pick the shift points, but you can get to that shift point just a little bit slower. You don't have to put that pedal on the floor to get up up to speed. You can get up there a little bit slower and roll through it and stuff like that. The truck burns a little bit less fuel getting to that shift point. So that's everybody can save a little something on shifting. Cruise control. Anytime you can utilize your cruise control safely, by all means do so. That truck engine and that computer and the way these newer trucks are all set up, cruise control is a major fuel saver. I mean, it does a wonderful job of doing that. But of course, be safe with it. We are rolling into the winter time, so you don't want to use your cruise control when you're in snow and ice or super windy conditions, or even whenever the road's wet, just raining. It's safer to turn the cruise control off. But anytime that you can safely use it, by all means, utilize that cruise control program. Aerodynamics. This one, is out of a lot of people's control, especially company drivers. You folks are you kind of have to just go with whatever your company provides on the trucks. Owner operators and independent contractors, you guys do have the opportunity to get out there and acquire some of this stuff. But if you have aerodynamic devices, keep them in good working condition and use them. Flow below systems on the tractor, the cab extenders on the truck, shorten that gap up between your truck and trailer so there's less air drag in there. On your trailers, side skirts, trailer tails. Now, some folks don't like trailer tails, but they do work. They do save money. They do save fuel. Just always remember to close them up before you back in anywhere. But but trailer tails do work. They do save money and fuel. And last but not least, trip planning. A lot of people don't think about trip planning and miles per gallon going hand in hand. But anytime that you can plan your trip to go through some of these major metro areas on non-peak hours, not during the rush hours and stuff like that, get out of that stop and go traffic, of course, the better your fuel mileage is going to be. Anytime that you can just roll right on through, Chicago, without having to stop and go, that's going to save you fuel. Now, one thing about all these tips, none of them by themselves are going to be major fuel savers. But whenever you put all this together, you can see some incredible miles per gallon and a whole lot less fuel consumption. Company drivers, if your company has a fuel bonus program, of course, the less fuel you burn, the more money you're going to make. And owner operators and independent contractors, y'all know exactly where I'm coming from. Every dime you save on fuel goes directly into your pocket. We actually get a 100% fuel bonus program. So anyway, I hope some of these tips help you out. Hopefully I at least threw one out there that you may not have thought about, recently, and maybe something that you've thought about but you haven't practiced. Give it a shot. I say give it a week or two and see if it helps you. I think you'll see it does. Be safe out there, and we'll see you next time.